Good Erev Shabbos. This week's Prshat, Parshas Tazriya, Shabbos HaChodesh, Rosh Chodesh, 3 Sifrei Torah. What an opportunity. What an opportunity to understand the beauty of our Torah HaKadosha and how the entire Torah is l'mayla min haderech hateva. You see, the Torah tells us, Isha ki tazriya v'yolda zachar. That means that if the woman is mazriya tchila, they're going to have a male child. I just spoke to a Talmud Chacham who's an obstetrician, and I asked him the following question. I said, tell me, has this ever been scientifically verified or scientifically disproven? And he told me that there have been many studies done, none conclusively to either prove or disprove this particular medical marvel that the Torah tells us. The other thing is, this week's Parsha also teaches us about Tazriya. About tsaras. Now, tsaras is an affliction. The tsaras is actually the chefza of the affliction. And that affliction comes from speaking Lashon Hara. Next week, we're going to learn about Parshas Mitzorah, which is Mitzorah is the actual gavra that is inflicted with the tsaras. So this affliction of tsaras is some type of a physical manifestation of a spiritual ailment. How are we meant to understand that? A physical manifestation of a spiritual ailment? So I could tell you that after being a Hatzalah responder for the last 2 and change years, we see many times different physical maladies that are actually manifestations of psychological ailments. For example, it's not been uncommon, particularly with the difficulties that people have experienced with corona, for individuals to experience the symptoms that might replicate even a heart attack, chas v'chalila. And they're doing the right thing by calling Hatzalah to be checked and to be certain that they're not having a heart attack. And that's 1,000% the right thing to do. However, many times, those symptoms that look and smell and feel almost just like a heart attack are actually a manifestation of a psychosomatic ailment or a psychotrauma, a psychological trauma or a psychological ailment that manifests itself as a panic attack. And a panic attack could look very similar to a heart attack. So therefore, we can understand that there are many physical ailments, Rahman al-Itzlan, that can impact the human body that are all, not all, but many of them are physical manifestations of psychological ailments. And thus we can understand that when the Torah tells us, Isha ki tazriya v'yolda zachar, or when the Torah tells us that the tsaras is a nega that comes from a spiritual ailment of a person who speaks Lashon Hara, those two are physical manifestations of spiritual ideas that are very difficult for us to comprehend. And you know what this obstetrician who I consulted with told me? He also mentioned the Rashi that says that when Esav came out first, it's a siman that Yaakov was conceived first. He said, and that too has not been able to be physically proven or disproven. But then he said to me the most beautiful thing in the world. He says, as an obstetrician, having delivered countless children into the world, I could tell you as well that the whole concept that when a man has bia with a woman and they conceive a child, he says, that too is l'mayla min hateva. It doesn't even make sense. He says, it's all nisim and neflois of the Borei Olam. May we be zoche to understand the gewaltige schus we have to be from the Amanivchor, from the Bnei Yisrael, Bonim Lamakoim. May we understand that the Rebbeinu Shem is looking out for each and every one of us, constantly l'mayla min haderech hateva. and we will be zoicha to the nisim gluyim that are coming our way. B'nisim niglu, b'nisim asinu li'goel. The nisim gluyim of Yitzias Mitzrayim that we will be zoicha to see b'kor of mamish with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mheira b'yameinu. Have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbos and a good Chodesh.